Hey guys, I'm John Barklow, and today I want to talk to you about some things to consider when you're in bear country. If you're out west, you're in the North Country, you should know that we are not the only apex predator out on the landscape. Bears, mountain lions, wolves, we're out there sharing the terrain with them. These animals don't need to be feared, but they do need to be respected. So we need to make sure that we have the right tools and protocols to go out there. And if we do run into one of these apex predators, that we're prepared for that confrontation. I've lived a long time on Kodiak Island where there was a large concentration of brown bears, and I've had lots and lots of interactions with them. And although I'm not an expert, I have come up with some rules that I abide by that I think could help you. Now, the first one is don't hunt solo, or don't go out hiking solo. Now, full disclosure, I broke rule one already. I broke it all the time. I hunted for a decade plus by myself, but I also knew that the risk I was taking, and I also had some idea in mind that if things happen, if I saw a bear, I may have to leave. If I thought there was any potential threat, I might have to leave. So I knew what I was getting into, and so you have to go into it eyes wide open if you're gonna go out there and hunt solo. The second one is, depending on the time of year, try to avoid where bears are gonna congregate. So as an example, in the spring or summer, you shouldn't be setting up your camp or hiking through a big patch of blueberries. You shouldn't be down on a salmon stream in the North Country in the fall where bears are gonna be. Even in late season, as winter starts to come in, you may find bears down on the beach scavenging for mussels and seaweed. And so if you try to avoid those areas, or at least have it in your mind that those areas potentially have bears, you can be more situationally aware. Now, the other thing is, you need to be able to have it in your mind that, you have to leave, or maybe I have to change my tactics. If I'm in really dense grizzly bear country and you've already seen bears, calling for elk with a cow call is maybe not your best tactic, especially if you're with only one other person. So I was hunting the Bob Marshall years ago. We went in, the hunting was fantastic the first couple days, but we started seeing some grizzly bears. Then we found a dead cow elk. Then we killed a bull, so now we had a gut pile. Then eventually we found a dead moo cow that had not been claimed yet by a grizzly, but at that point we'd seen 5 grizzlies, we had 3 gut piles, and it was just getting a bit too congested for us to be there. We were backpacking around and we had to leave that area. That was the right course of action. Another thing you want to do is when you're camping, try to camp in more dense areas, not on game trails, in areas where a bear is probably not going to walk through. So these are just kind of trying to hedge your bets. Now, when you're camping, it's important that you cook away from your tent. So I call it the cook shack, and it may be a shack, it may be an actual teepee tent, or it may be just be where you congregate. But that's where you want to eat, maybe several hundred yards away from actually where your tents are going to be and where you're going to sleep. You want to hang food. You don't want to bring food inside your tent. These are things that are just going to cut down on a possibility of a bear coming in and finding you. Now, one thing that we used all the time, and I used all the time in Alaska when there were a lot of bears, is we carried these small portable bear fences. Now, it's not very common down here in the lower 48 to use a portable bear fence, but it's certainly something to consider if you're going into one of these higher concentration grizzly bear units. The elk hunting or the mule deer hunting may be amazing there. And so maybe to cut down on that risk, out of all those other things I just talked about, maybe you do carry a small portable bear fence. But now the most common things that most hunters and hikers are going to carry is either bear spray or some type of firearm. So if you're an archery hunter, maybe you have a pistol. If you're a rifle hunter, you may have a pistol to back you up, but you certainly have your long gun as your primary. Now, depending on what I'm doing, I may have bear spray and a pistol. So it's really going to be condition dependent. I think that what we need to do, and is most important, is we need to practice with whatever tool we're going to bring. So I think bear spray is a great place to start. I can carry it here on my optics harness. If I am attacked, the bear's on me, the bear's coming, I can activate this while it's on me. I've had guys I've seen literally spray themselves in the eyes at point blank range with the bear spray. And although that man was down for a couple days and he couldn't see really well and he was in a lot of pain, they never lost their eyesight. And our corpsman, told us that, yeah, it was going to be bad, but it wasn't going to damage them. Much better than being mauled by a bear. But I can also deploy this and put out a big plume, and it's easier than trying to, get one bullet on an animal. But if you're going to use a pistol or bear spray, it's critical that you go and train. Train with your partners. This is the fun stuff, right? Go out and shoot, but shoot in realistic conditions. Try to get that shot off down low when you're not bringing up and getting that sight picture. Pull your bear spray out. And then what I like to use is expired bear spray. So I normally have expired bear sprays. I buy new ones for the year, and then those old ones is what I use for training canisters. So all these things are gonna come into play to help you be safe when you're out in bear country. So take these considerations into effect, go out, have fun, but understand we are not the only apex predator out there.